Happy Friday, everybody. It's Jim, it's Amadeus, and we are ready to rock and roll for a very jam-packed 30 minutes. So hang tight, folks. We got a lot to get over. Amadeus, not a lot of stuff going on today from a soccer standpoint, but there's a lot of stuff going on today from baseball. We got golf, we got tennis, we got, um, you know, uh, goodness, the not the NBA yet, and the Stanley Cup will be tomorrow. But we were talking earlier about the Nuggets and the Heat, and the Nuggets didn't disappoint. They came out and said, "Okay, let's we've been in the hot tub for a week now. Let's come out and play." And they came out and played.
Yeah, that hot tub really relaxed the muscles there
Mm,
because they came out strong from the start. They were up by 20 pretty much that whole
yeah,
game. I'm surprised it even got to 11 in the end. Uh,
yeah. I mean, they controlled the game. Miami was really never in it, and you know, rust is not a problem for the Denver Nuggets, it seems. So there you go. That was a nice opener. Um, we got some. We got. I just was taking a quick look. We got some really interesting baseball tonight. We got the Reds and the Brewers, the Athletics and the Marlins, the Cardinals and the Pirates, the Phillies and the Nationals, the Rays and the Red Sox. So we're actually getting some inner, play in your own division in some cases. Um, Rays, Red Sox, Blue Jays, and the Mets. You got the Mariners and the Rangers. You got the Angels and the Astros. That's a big series for the Angels. I hate to say it this early in the season, but you don't want to go down too far. And if the Angels could come through and actually do something in that situation, that would certainly help their cause to be done. Rockies and Royals, Guardians and Twins, Tigers, White Sox, Cubbies, and the Padres. The Braves are at Arizona, the Dodgers, and the Yankees. That's going to be the game on the Major League Baseball Network tonight, 10:10. And the Orioles and the Giants round out the evening at 10:15 out in the Bay area. Tonight, Yankees, Dodgers, it's Severino and Kershaw. Now, is Kershaw given the respect that he used to be, or is it like from a standpoint of, do you get a lot of Kershaw bet for first five or something like that, or is Kershaw kind of slid down that rung of elite pitchers?
he's definitely not the guy he used to be, but
Yeah,
I would still put him. I would still put him as a pretty solid starter. Obviously, he has the years of experience to back him. He knows how to get out of certain situations. But when he is pitching well, he tends to pitch. He tends to string a few good starts together. So
mhm.
absolutely, I know this is more of a pick 'em. Actually, yesterday it was more of a pick 'em. A lot of money has come in on Kershaw and the Dodgers, so maybe that answers your question a bit. They saw the Dodgers at about a -110, -120, and now it's -140. So people obviously saw that and steamed the Dodgers with Kershaw, thinking he was the better pitcher. But again, I think you're seeing the line here because of Severino. He's kind of like a Kershaw in the sense where
Yeah,
he's had a good career. He's just been derailed by a lot of injury over the last few
right.
seasons.
Well, they both had back problems, and a pitcher with back problems is not a good thing. And that's been an issue for them. The other thing, it'll be interesting to see with the Dodgers and the Yankees, and with Aaron Judge and the whole situation there, is games at night from San Francisco or from Los Angeles, San Diego, Anaheim, Oakland. You've got that marine layer. It's not like, I mean, it's fog in San Francisco and Oakland, but further down the coast, it's just the ball is heavier and it doesn't travel as much at night. Now, if you're in Judge, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you get a home run out of Yellowstone Park, so that part doesn't issue. But Kershaw's numbers at night versus Kershaw's numbers a day are like night and day. They definitely are different. And when Kershaw's a left-handed pitcher, so He was the elite left-handed pitcher. The one thing that he does, and a lot of older pitchers can do it, like you had mentioned, Scherzer's the same way. They can pitch their way out of bad situations. They know what to do to get out of it. They don't have to throw the ball 98 miles an hour. They don't have to control it. They know how to make a hitter hit the ball where they want it or get them out with a strikeout. So, if they're on, and you said that, and that's very, Kershaw's streakiness really has been affected by he'll have a great outing. He'll feel good. His back will tighten up, and then the next outing he can't get you and me out. But it's just that kind of situation. Severino is a little better because he's a little younger, but not much better. So, when you have a situation like this tonight where you have Severino and Kershaw, you're sitting there going, which is, am I getting the good Kershaw and the good Severino, which could make it for a very interesting, low-scoring baseball game, or am I going to get, guys who by the third inning were at 7-6 in the third inning. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting weekend series. The Dodgers and the Yankees have always been one of those coastal deals where you got two massive fan bases, and of course they went all the way back to the old days in New York when they used to play each other. So we'll see. It'll be fun. What are there any soccer games that you will be looking at tomorrow on Sunday?
Yeah, so there's a bit because in Europe specifically, La Liga has their final match day of the season on Sunday. So the Premier League is over, Ligue 1 is over in France, and I believe the Bundesliga is over as well. So the two left are La Liga. So Spain's having their final matches. They're all at 12:30. Actually, no, sorry. Half are at 12:30. The other half are at 3:00 on Sunday. And I'm just going to check the Italy Serie A because that one is also in its final match day. There is one today, Sassuolo and Fiorentina, but it's kind of a meaningless match. Neither have really anything to play for. So Italy actually has 3 of their matches tomorrow, one at 12:30, 2 at 3:00. And then the rest are at Sunday, one at 12:30, and the rest at 3:00. So I've seen this quite a bit on these final match days. They tend to put all the games the same day, the same time, because if anybody has anything to play for, relegation or European spots, they don't want teams going into matches knowing, Everton won already, so we're relegated and we don't need to try in this match, right? They want everybody. Now, obviously, Spain and Italy is doing it a little different, but Ligue 1 and the Premier League, you saw they had all the final matches at the same time on the same day.
Well, we got some fun stuff going on. We've got right now, I'm looking at the leaderboard at the Memorial. And there's some heavy action going on there. Masagamura is 7 under. David Lipsky is 6 under. Patrick Cantley is 6 under. Rory McIlroy is at 4, and Straka is at 4. So that's where we are in the top rung of the. Let me roll down real quick here, see if anybody else is close. Justin Shue is at -2. -4. Matt Wallace is at -4. Lee Hodges is at -3. Luke Donald is at -3. And Jordan Spieth is at, again, -3. A lot of -3s here. Let's see. We got Hayden is at -3. Huang is at -3. M is at -3. Hubbard is at -3. And seemingly everybody in Ohio is at -3. Let's see, one more.
So the whole tournament is at
-3. Yeah. So 7 is at number 1. -3 is so 4. you got 12 guys, only 4 strokes back. So
that 7 under was all today too.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So all in one shot.
You got to think that on a case like that, when you have a 7 under on one day, and you take the tournament lead at that point, you're just saying to yourself, when you get back to where you're staying that evening, all I got to do is just keep playing consistent, because I doubt seriously anybody's going to put a 7 up again. You don't know. I mean, that's surprising, because that course, I mean, for many years, of course, that was Jack Nicklaus's tournament. Not only from the standpoint of he hosted, he usually won it, but it's not an easy golf course, the Memorial. It's a pretty tough one. So 7 under is a good mark. There's no question about that.
Well, he went even yesterday, so I would expect him to come back. I noticed the guys that tend to have those big 8 under days at the beginning of the tournament, they always fade during the weekend, and
they come back.
Yeah, I think maybe because today's the second day. Is it not the easiest hole location of the tournament?
Right.
Because I think they put the most difficult on obviously the last day.
On the weekends, yeah.
Yeah, and then I would think the first day would be a little bit harder, because you want to challenge the people. You don't want anybody getting out to a big lead right away.
Well, some tournaments don't even change the placement of the pin in the second, because you've got such a large field, for 2 days in a row. You basically just let them play themselves out, for lack of a better way of putting it. So, it's today in golf vernacular, stick day. You want to stick in the tournament, and then tomorrow's moving day. So we'll see how that works out. But there's a lot of people close together in that tournament, to be sure. And, not much change from standpoint in the French Open tennis. Pretty much they're going chalk so far.
Not really. I've seen a few
upset.
A few big upsets in this tournament. I know Rublev was knocked out by Sonego earlier today,
right.
So that was a big one. Rublev, one of the better players in the world, and it's a lot of the women too, like Bianca Andreescu. Should have lost probably 3 rounds ago, and she's just been on a tear all of a sudden. So definitely, I think there has been, obviously not a ton of upsets, but
right.
Definitely there's been the odd few that make you really wonder, like, how did he beat him?
Well, I mean, look at how many players have not been able to play well on clay, and no matter how good they are. I mean, what was his name? McEnroe never won on clay, the French. There's probably who else? For many years, the only person to win on clay who was an American tennis player was Jim Courier, who won it twice, and Michael Chang, who won it once. And the rest of the top tennis players could. Now, I swear that that when he was playing at his best, Roger Federer could, play on I-95 and win. That wouldn't have made any difference. So,
dodging cars too.
Dodging cars at the same time. Yeah. So, and he'd have easy pass, so we wouldn't even have to worry about that. But the guys that we've talked about, Joker, we've talked about Nadal, those kind of guys. This has been Roland Garros had always been Nadal's cathedral. He owned it, and
he's the king of clay.
That's right. The king of clay and winning in France, and so I think the fact that Joker has gotten over on it and done well there, bodes well for him and how things are stacking up as we get closer to a final. The first week will end this weekend, and then we'll see how things unfold from that stage.
Well, Djokovic, you'd think he would be good on clay, because I'm pretty sure clay is the primary courts in Serbia. Are they not?
They are. those tragically, Serbia, because of the wars that they've had, um, really, they had a thing where Djokovic went back, and he went to where he learned how to play, and they literally were playing on asphalt. It wasn't. You looked at it and you saw people playing tennis, and you're like, how does anybody keep from hurting themselves playing this? And it just showed how things have gotten tougher. But for his standpoint, again, he almost is like Roger Federer in the regards that he can play on anything. It'd be amazing. But Nadal, I think Nadal's strength was he can serve and volley, and a lot of players don't like to do that. And clay benefits people who can do that. It's a slower surface. The ball gains a lot of weight to it, and so it kind of negates the people who are the hard hitters, because you can't always be a hard hitter on clay. It doesn't help you necessarily to be that. You have to almost be the finesse guy, which is why Michael Chang won. I mean, you never really thought of Michael Chang as somebody who was a power person, but Chang could win on clay because he was able, and Courier as well, because they could serve and volley and keep the ball. You want to keep it as far back on the court as possible, because the ball gets heavier, and as you hit it, it doesn't travel as far. So, theory of the case on that one. It'll be fun to see how that all plays out. So let me ask you about in Canada. We don't have a Canadian team in the Stanley Cup, but Canadians love hockey. So is the money going in Vegas's way, or is it headed toward the Panthers?
I've so far from what I've heard is I've seen a few people on Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think the Florida Panthers are the team to beat, but a lot of it, a lot of people I talk to up here anyway, if you ask them who they want to win, they either don't care or simply, they say, oh, I want either Vegas to win because I don't like Florida, shouldn't be hockey in Florida, or it's the response is, I want Florida because I don't like Vegas. Vegas shouldn't be a team. So,
whoa, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a few people that did. There's a few people I know who don't love the expansion, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know to say Vegas shouldn't have a team. I mean, it's. I think it's a lot of it.
A bit hard.
People up here it's the way that they had the team, the draft.
Sure.
It was the way that the team was put together.
Right.
Bothers a lot of people, and the fact that they've been so dominant since coming into the league, it bothers a lot of people up here.
Well, David Poile can put together a hockey team. There's no question about that. I think the thing with Vegas is how successful they've been, and they've only been in the league for 6 years. I mean, this will be the second Stanley Cup final that they've been in, and they've played in the league 6 years. So, Ranger fans are probably not crazy about that, since they haven't won anything since 1994. So it is what it is. But I think part of the angst in the situation with the Canadians would be on the expansion front is that they didn't expand in Canada.
Yeah, that does bother a lot of people. I know people that are upset about the sale of the Ottawa Senators. They desperately want Ryan Reynolds. They don't want the Snoop Dogg group to win it because they think they're going to relocate the team to the U.S. So that's a growing concern up here. Where obviously I'm not close to the city of Ottawa. It's still quite a few hours drive away, but that's what Ontarians that I talk to that actually like the NHL. They're very concerned about the next owner of the Ottawa Senators trying to relocate the team out of Canada.
Well, and that's the capital city. You don't want to lose not only do you not want to lose the team, you don't want to lose, the team that plays in the capital. That's just you know, you should have a team there and they should play. And what about Quebec City? I mean, eh, are they still, a viable opportunity, or if a move were to happen?
See, the problem with that is I
Is
don't
it
think it's
Montreal?
viable. Yeah, because so the people that actually live in Quebec don't buy into the Nordiques. There's a lot of Montreal Canadiens fans. They're one of the oldest franchises in
Sure.
the NHL, and
The original eight.
yeah, if you gave a team to Quebec City, they're not going to support it. They're still going to cheer for Montreal. They're simply not going to support it. Funny enough, when you leave Quebec, probably every other Canadian is pissed off that the Nordiques aren't in Quebec City anymore. I know people that still deem the Avalanche as the Nordiques.
Right.
And the years that the Avalanche won the cup, I have Canadians that I know Canadians that say to me, the Avalanche didn't win the cup that year. It was the Nordiques. That's what they were.
Right.
It was just the team got relocated and then won the cup a season later. But yeah, that's how passionate the Canadians are about their sport, and that's why a lot of them feel Gary Bettman's just destroying it.
Well, you live not far from Hamilton. There's always been the theory that Hamilton could very easily support a team, but the Toronto won't let them get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Personally, I don't want a team just because what it's going to do to the city traffic wise. It's already terrible, but absolutely, if Toronto wasn't kiboshing that all the time, then Hamilton would easily support the team. There wouldn't even be an issue with that. It would be a money making franchise. Absolutely.
Well, there had been a couple of conversations about the possibility of two teams in Toronto, and the Leafs crushed that one.
Yeah. Well, it does work. Like honestly, in the CFL, you have the Toronto Argos, two teams within a vicinity, and they tend to get quite a bit of fan support, right? And the fans bases hate each other. So like it's totally possible to have two teams in the city of Toronto, let alone it's just if you wanted to throw one in Hamilton. There's definitely enough.
Well, I know a lot of Ontario hockey fans are Detroit Red Wings fans because they'll go down. They live down in the area down there by Windsor and London, Ontario, and they're closer to Detroit than they are to Toronto. And they adopted the Red Wings. And when I used to do Red Wings hockey, you go look up and watch the Ambassador Bridge across from Detroit to Windsor, and it would be bumper to bumper traffic on the way coming into Joe Louis Arena and leaving Joe Louis Arena. Could be be an hour for those cars to get from from the U.S. side to the Canadian side.
Yeah, that definitely happens in the more up north in the Sunbury area, and as you said, the Windsor area for sure. And even the Buffalo Sabres, because I don't think people realize it's easier to cross the border and go watch the Sabres if you live in Niagara Falls than it is to drive to Toronto, because that's almost a 2-hour drive. But if you had a team in Hamilton, as you say, you actually Hamilton's only a 45-minute drive really from Niagara Falls and St. Catharines area. So now you're giving people a choice. Do I want to sit in the line and cross the border, or do I just hop on the highway and go watch the Hamilton game?
Right. Which probably would be what they would do.
Yeah. And it's half the distance of going to Toronto, because the problem with Niagara Falls to Toronto is you have to pass basically through Hamilton, or you have to pass beside Hamilton to get to Toronto, because there's a massive lake in the way. So
there's that. Somebody just threw a lake there. Okay.
Yeah. How dare they put the lake there?
It's just bad planning, clearly. No question about it. All right. Well, look, we got about 4 or 5 minutes left. Let's talk quickly about some of the stuff going on over the weekend. Like we said, we've got French Open continues. You got golf continues. You've got the MLS on Saturday. You've got
Every
And
game,
hopefully, I'm sorry.
every game, 7 to 10.
I mean, everything's local time, very local time.
So every game, 7 o'clock locally. Be there, be square.
Okay. Exactly, or don't see it. Then what else? We got Grand Prix of Spain, Spanish Grand Prix on F1. So there's a ton of stuff. There's an IndyCar race in Detroit, which is always fun, and so there's tons of stuff to enjoy over the weekend. We talked about some of the baseball series that there's going to be an opportunity to see. Cardinals Pirates. That's going to be an interesting one. If the Buccos have any hope of clinging, and hanging in there, this opportunity with Cardinals would be a good time to make that work. And we've got some, like we said, the Yankees and the Dodgers are out on the coast, so there's that going. Very interesting. Orioles and Giants. That doesn't happen often. They're playing out there, so there's some fun. There's some fun things to watch. And as soccer winds down, is there anything on the weekends that we should be looking out for?
Always the Brazilian soccer. All
Okay.
summer. Always watch Brazilian league. But
Well,
yeah, I mean,
we haven't had Foxy here lately to bring us up to speed on that, but
yeah. This weekend though, mainly, like I said, you got Serie A and La Liga ending for the season. So if you can, go catch some of those matches. Not every match is going to be great, but there's going to be ones that mean something to some of these teams, and those are the ones I recommend to watch. Just check the standings and say, okay, if it's a team in the middle of the table, then probably don't watch them because they can't do anything. Like today's Sassuolo.
head to the ones that can be relegated.
Yeah. There's teams playing for European competition and playing for relegation, and a lot of there's in Spain and Italy alone, I know there's something so the two bottom teams have been relegated, but that third relegation spot, there's it's 6-team tie, all within 2 or 3 points of each other. So that's what I mean. Like anybody could be relegated at this point. We got 15 to 20 all
bunched in a hole there. So.
Yep.
Whoops, that's going to be fascinating. So yeah, so those are good things going on. All right, well we're going to get out of here, folks. A fast 30 minutes. Amadeus, have a great weekend. On Monday we'll come back and do a postmortem on whatever happened on the weekend, and hopefully we'll have some fun chat and things to chat about. Everybody have a safe weekend. We will see you on Monday, and until then, be well, everybody. Take care.